Good morning.
Good
I am
morning.
I am here with Charlotte Cabri and Nicola Daniels, and they are going to speak with us today about a fantastic group here in Greenwood County called Greenwood County Diversity. Charlotte, you are the chair of this group, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And Nicola, you are the secretary?
That's correct.
Well, let's get to know a little bit about Charlotte. Charlotte, the only thing I know about you in doing Google searches, aside from Greenwood County Diversity, is that you were the editor of Lander magazine at one point. Is that correct?
That is. I grew up in a German town in Alabama, Coleman, between Huntsville and Birmingham. It was founded after the Civil War. So everybody we knew, a lot of them had German accents still, but my dad does have a Purple Heart because he fought World War II. Mm-hmm. So with the Germans there, we're going back over to help this country. I went to schools there, to Catholic parochial schools. If you were Catholic, you went to school.
12 years of Catholic school, Charlotte. We can do a whole hour just on that topic, but we'll save that for another day.
But I finished school at St. Mary of the Woods in Terre Haute, Indiana, and then my husband and I were at the University of Alabama, where he was working on his PhD in math. I worked at the News Bureau at the University of Alabama, and then before that, I'd worked for the Coleman Times, a newspaper in Coleman. We moved here, and we had 3 children. Then I worked at the Index Journal for 2 years, which was a great place to work, great people. Then a year at Piedmont Tech, which also it was impressive, the people there. Then I was fortunate enough to go to Lander. I was director of university relations there.
You're true blue, Greenwood, South Carolina. Glad to hear that you've made your mark over many years. Nikki, the little I know about you is that you once worked at the Greenwood County Library. You worked for the library system.
That's correct.
And now you're at the Wilmette Institute.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that, but I was born, you probably hear it from my accent, I'm not a Southerner. I was born further south in Jamaica, in the Caribbean. And I only came here in 2008 because I got married and I met someone who was living here. I live in Waterloo, South Carolina, so I'm not actually in Greenwood, but there's not much going on in Waterloo. And I applied I first went to volunteer for the library. And I did English as a second language with some of the students there at the library. They have a program, which I think they had to curtail it because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And then I applied for an opening that they had there and got it. It was my first real sort of 9-to-5 kind of job that I had because I was working online before that. And I really loved it. I love the library still. And then also I was volunteering for the Wilmette Institute. It's an online educational institution. It's an agency of the Baha'is of the National Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of the United States. And we do courses on religion, world religions, on things like climate change, sustainable development, marriage, courses about relationships and marriage, and all kinds of good things, arts as well.
Right. One thing I discovered about you, Nikki, is that you maintain a YouTube page and you share a lot of that spirituality, that art. You're a musician. You've written some compositions. Yeah, I watched it. But I think I'm going to have to share with some of our members the Jamaican translation of the Desiderata, the
Desiderata. Yeah, I did that recently.
It is amazing. I have to tell you, it takes something solemn and almost makes it joyful and fun.
Don't be nobody but yourself, and especially don't pretend to love nobody. And no scorn love neither, cause no matter what, it always the boat.
So let's talk about Greenwood County Diversity. How did it get started and when did that happen?
Charlotte.
Okay, it started back in October of 2016. Equal Justice Initiative was putting up a plaque in Abbeville commemorating Anthony Crawford, who was lynched there in 1916. I just felt like I needed to go. And so I went the day before when they were having some freedom schools. And people had come down, family of his who had been kind of forced out of Abbeville, relocated to Ohio and other places were there. And they were talking in groups. There were not too many white people there, but I always raise my hand when I want to ask something. But we were talking then about some of the shootings. And one of the women there, Black women, was talking about how bad it was to see on television your people being killed. So I raised my hand and I said, well, the good thing that has come out of that is that we're beginning to see what you're having to go through. And she said, you don't understand. She said, you don't see your people dying on TV. And I thought that's what it was about. We don't understand each other. So I happened to go back to that wonderful Greenwood County Library and to talk to Prudence Taylor about it, because she had to have workshops or discussions about different cultures. And I asked her if we couldn't do something about, let's talk about race. She said, yes, we got right on it. She got books, she got movies. We got Dr. Daniel Harrison from Lander to get speakers to lead discussions.
So I remember those Let's Talk About Race series at the library. That was your initiation, wasn't it?
It was. Well, Charlotte came to me and said, Nikki, do you think this would be a good idea? And I said, yeah. And she said, do you think Prudence, do you want to talk to Prudence and ask her to do that? I said, Charlotte, I think you should talk to Prudence. Okay. And so Charlotte talked to Prudence and Prudence came on board. So
it really worked out well. We had hundreds, really, anytime we could be anywhere from 30 to 60 or 70 people there. Everybody felt comfortable talking and asking questions. And we also we had requested $1,000 gift from Josh Norman. He was offering it to different churches. And I wrote him a letter and I said, we would like to do a book exchange with young people from the Catholic Church and with Weston Chapel AME Church. So he sent me back a letter and he said, you've asked for $1,000. I'm going to give you a double gift. And he sent us $2,000. Oh, wow. It was like everything led to something else. You made one contact, then there was another one. So Susie Holloway was, Nikki, you might want to tell them how she was so instrumental in helping us to continue this.
Oh gosh, well, we would, after, each time they had something at the library, the people would kind of congregate afterwards and they'd be talking and talking and talking, sometimes for like an hour after the event was finished. And there were people like the Roundtrees there who recently left Greenwood, Janella and Robert Roundtree, and we just started talking. And Susie said, we really need to continue talking. And she offered us her puppet house as a venue. Yeah.
Susie has been absolutely generous in, offering her space for these types of meetings, and she is to be commended for that.
And the poets met there as well. So one of our founding members too is Fred Bassett.
Yes.
So I met him first at one of the first events they had was the Langston Hughes poetry event. And he read a poem there from Langston Hughes.
So is it the meeting at the Puppet Place? Is that what's considered the official start of Greenwood County Diversity?
Yes.
Okay. And who are the current leadership team? Besides
Charlotte, myself, Kathy Swindell, who is vice chair. Yeah. Okay. Cosetta Williams, who you may know as well, is our treasurer. And various other people. Susie is like a founding member and, patron. And Sarah Carroll. Sarah Carroll is our sort of the Family Fun Day organizer, chair of that committee.
Now, I know that one of your missions items is education and discussion, and you have led a series of interesting book discussions in the past 2 years. I know one of the ones that I actually read, although I didn't participate in your book discussion due to scheduling conflicts, was the book White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. And it was an uncomfortable read, at times. And I think, that's what this diversity group has to be, is it has to be uncomfortable at times in order to break through it. How do you feel those book discussions have gone in general? And what were some of the other books that you have covered as a group?
Wow. We did Walking with the Wind, John Lewis. That was before he passed. We did that. That book was recommended, and they recommended by Michael Gaskin, who was another founding member. So we did that, and I really loved that book. That was so well written. And
what about the one, the film that was part of the
films as well? Yeah,
I Am Not Your Negro.
Yes,
based on James Baldwin's writings, and it was excellent. And then the one that was led by a criminal justice professor from Lander was let me give you.
Was it Just Mercy?
No, we read that one too. Yes,
okay.
Did read that one, yeah.
But this was Slavery by Another Name, and I've talked to people about that just recently. They were not aware of, during Reconstruction that, of course, we didn't have slavery anymore, but if you, say, spit on the sidewalk and you were Black, you might be arrested. And then you continued to stay in jail, and you had to work in some of the steel mills in Birmingham. It was awakening for a lot of us.
So how did these book discussions go? Did you, pick a chapter and then you'd meet together to discuss that chapter? What would somebody expect if they wanted to jump in on the next book discussion?
Well, go ahead, Nikki. You want to?
Well, we've been a bit fluid with that. So, I try to read the book or most of the book. I haven't read all of the books on our list because it's just too many. But we go chapter by chapter sometimes. And other times just, what struck out at you, and people would bring their copies of the book and say, well, I really like this part, or I couldn't stand that part. And, the memories that it brings up for them. And usually they're related to their own lives, and it's really good for getting to know other people, because it's interesting that people see the book differently based on their own upbringing, So
now,
go ahead.
In addition to the book discussions, you have, as a group, tried to engage the community directly. And I think the pinnacle achievement as a group was the Family Fun Day.
It started when Susie Holloway wanted to have a puppet show at Magnolia Park. And we said, okay, we'll make that happen. Well, the next thing you know, we started asking different people to do things. They all volunteered. The chamber got on it and said, yes, y'all can do this in conjunction with the Festival of Flowers. So we had Nancy and Rusty Wilson did a nature table where they brought a snake.
Yeah.
Her name was Rachel, I think, the snake.
Rachel the snake, yeah.
And everybody loved that. We had a good cross section of age and races, different backgrounds there. We had a garden club come and help let people pot up plants to take home. Gave away hundreds of stuffed animals.
Yeah.
We had entertainment. Praise group sang. Some
face painting.
Oh, the face painting was popular. The police were there. They brought their dog, and the kids just loved it. The fire department came with their fire truck.
The blood truck came.
That's right.
Maybe it would just be faster if you listed who didn't participate, because it sounded like you truly got the whole community to come out for the spirit of diversity.
We had a saxophonist and a bass player played
from Greenville, a bass player. Selma Sims, the poet, she read, but she invited her nephew, and then a friend of Nikki's just got up on the stage and sang, and another woman got up there and sang. One of the best things we had was a young girl who's a Lander student. She got up and had the music, her music, and had some hip hop music, and all the young people were up there in a row by the stage, just dancing.
And we had storytelling. That Lander person did storytelling.
It sounds like it was Greenwood's version of Woodstock.
It was
Yeah,
great.
there
It
you
was
go.
great. And
Now,
it was just the first. So we were really disappointed this year when,
yeah.
because of COVID, we weren't able to do it at the time we were planning to do it. So we continued to meet now and then, not every month, but we've been meeting a little bit on Zoom with more book discussions. And this year we're planning to go and do some more meetings on the arts. We're going to start with poetry because we have so many poets. So
We
we're looking forward to
participated
that.
in the two Martin Luther King Day marches.
Right.
We participated in those, and we will do that again this year.
Yeah, now 2020 was a particularly difficult year in terms of race relations in this country. And if there ever was a need or a time for the Greenwood Diversity Group to make an appearance, it would have been this past summer with George Floyd's murder and others that preceded his. And I recall seeing you marching in the Black Faith, the march down to the courthouse to the Confederate statue.
Were you there?
I was over at the Democratic tent doing voter registration, and marched along with everybody else. And it was, several hundred. I mean, I counted, estimated about 500 people.
They put us in front because we had the banner.
Yes.
They put us in front.
Who is to credit for that banner? That was the best banner.
Susie really helped to get that banner going. Yeah.
That made all the difference.
It did. But you know what I thought about our Black Lives Matter? We had there were two events, the one with the faith group and then the first one by the fountain. And I went to both. And what impressed me was that there was such great respect by the people in Greenwood for each other. If somebody drove by, they waved in support.
Yes.
I didn't see any anger or not at the ones we were at. And I don't know how you felt about that, but I thought it was peaceful and we had a purpose.
Yes, indeed it was. If some of our members would like to join up and participate in your group, what's the best way for them to get in touch or follow what's happening?
Well, we have an email address, which I monitor. It's gwddiversity@gmail.com. So most people know that acronym for Greenwood is gwddiversity@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page as well. You can contact us through that. Just look for Greenwood County Diversity on Facebook and you'll find us there. Our logo, our banner is there so you can recognize us.
And Bill, we hope that this will help people to say, hey, I've got an idea of something your group could do. Maybe we can do something with the Boys and Girls Club, or we're doing something at a school and we can support, that. We were a sponsor for the Empty Bowls.
Yes.
Members just donated money and we were a platinum sponsor because people just gave that. They wanted something to do because of the pandemic. We couldn't have our family fun day. So we sponsored that. So we're looking for things that might be able to help the community. So if there's people out there that are already doing things, we would like to be able to maybe piggyback with them if they need more people.
Well, I agree that when more groups like us get together, regardless of any political or religious affiliations, we can all come together in the spirit of helping our neighbors. And I think that's a great opportunity, Charlotte, and you can sign us up and we'll be sure we'll be in touch with you and Nikki and others whenever we see such opportunities.
And we want to involve young people more. We've tried to get young people, to either speak but we need.
You've got Nikki. She's what, 25, 26, right? So I think that's good.
We're looking for teenagers. You will be interested in this. We are working with the Fine Arts Center to have, it's called Connecting
with the Dream.
And they're going to, Sylvia Martin's going to have young people, and I mean young, like in
Coolidge.
Schools, public schools.
Coolidge.
Interview people about what they remember about growing up, or positive and negative things. So that will involve the youth, I think, and we're looking for more things like that.
That sounds absolutely fascinating. Well, thank you very much for the time you spent with us today. It's been absolutely enlightening, and look forward to seeing more of you guys in the future.
Okay, we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.